Hello, Bianca.
Hey Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing today?
It's going.
It's going. I
I'm
feel
here.
that.
I'm here. I'm I'm present. Yeah,
I like your shirt a lot. I
Thank
almost
you.
wore tie-dye today, but then toned it down.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it goes.
Well,
Well, welcome everybody to A/B testing. We're so
welcome.
happy that you're here to join us today. We've had some exciting drop game going. It's always fun. And what do we got going on today, Bianca?
Champions.
Champions.
Well, a singular champion, but we will be talking about our Twilio Champions program.
Wait,
and
say it again. What do we have today?
Our Twilio Champion.
There you go.
Okay, cool. We'll definitely, we'll have the champion talk about the champions program in their own words. But yeah, we're super excited. We'll have a demo. And also Tristan will just kind of highlight what he's up to, all the things. But yeah, that's kind of what we got going on. We'll also have a few other champions throughout this month, so
yes,
extra excited about that. So
the next couple weeks leading up to Signal are going to be a lot of champions, which I'm really excited for. It's so much fun to talk about. Just talk with people. Like, I love everyone at Twilio, and also like there's people that don't work at Twilio too that are super cool.
yeah. So I think it's good balance. So yeah.
Without
also,
further ado, go ahead.
Before we even start, I have a question for chat. So what did I ask that my therapist likes to ask? How are you joining us today? How are you coming into this space? So let us
how are you
know.
Coming? That's a good one. Yeah.
Chat. Let us know how you're coming into this space. What are you excited about? What are you thinking about? Are you tired? Are you hungry? Are you bored? Hopefully not. But yeah, just let us know.
If you're bored, you came to the right place.
Essentially. So but yeah, let us know how you're coming into the space. So yeah, over to you, Alex.
Sweet. Let's welcome Tristan to the show. Welcome, Tristan. Wait. There we go.
Hello.
Hi, Tristan.
Hello. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I thought I would be filled with dread, but actually I'm very excited.
Good.
Okay. Wow. Great start.
We have that effect on people.
Great start. We do. I do feel like we scared them a little bit because we're a little excited, and then they're like, "Whoa!" And then we're like, "No, but we're normal people." But yes, Tristan. The folks are probably wondering, like, who are you? Even though we kind of like said who you were, but give us like an intro that you would give to the world. Maybe not the world, but just
hello world.
Our world.
My name's Tristan. I'm a Twilio Champion. So I got this cool hat. I live in Connecticut, which is fairly new for me. I've kind of lived all over though. And, I spend my days doing software development and working on cool projects. I got some kids and I like baking.
Okay.
Nice. We're going to talk about those things. And one of those places that you lived is actually near where I grew up because you attended Northwestern for some part of your educational experience, correct?
Yeah. I went to my undergrad there and very, very nice area except for winter and summer.
Yes, exactly. It's nice most of the time.
Who needs all 4 seasons?
No,
like,
no.
Yeah.
Did you ever check out the Baha'i temple near there?
I did. I actually read a really interesting thing about how it's made out of concrete.
Yeah. So let me hold on. Let me get started here. I'm not even ready to go. I'm so behind, but I'm going to pull up a picture for everybody of this temple. This is like, it's kind of like, yeah, it's near Evanston. It's also, I grew up in the north suburbs of Chicago, so it's near there. But it's this, it's such a cool building. Here you go. So like, it's just like epically beautiful. It's the Baha'i house of worship, so it is a religious building, but it like, I would sometimes you take the scenic route into the city just to like look at this building on the road, and because it was the scenic route and it was nice. But like, yeah, sorry, I was just like thought of that this morning. I'm like, oh, you've been to this place, you've seen this place.
There's only one on each continent.
Yeah, and the one happens to be in the north suburbs of Chicago, in North America. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's made all out of concrete. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so actually I forget what, some kind of like, engineering focused blog or something, but yeah, I think that the premise was that we've kind of forgotten how to make like more artistic forms of concrete, because
Mhm.
the aggregate in that is actually, I think, a lot of quartz. That's why it's like so lustrous and reflective.
Mm.
And now we primarily focus on like performance concretes. But
Mm.
the material that temple, and I think some of the other Baha'i temples were kind of designed for building those temples, and no one else has really used them otherwise.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story about how the Baha'i temple was created and where it
Yeah.
where it got ended up.
It is. I've seen some other ones. Like I happened to be near the one in India and saw that because there's one there. They're everywhere they go. They're just these beautiful, beautiful buildings. Yeah. Cool. So Tristan, yeah, what do you want to start with? What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I've been speed prepping my demo. That's what I've been focused on.
That's what you've been focused on?
I guess let's just, we can start somewhere. I am kind of curious, like from your own words, like what is the Champions program to you, right? So we talk about this all the time, and I think like a lot of folks will hear about it, but I guess from your own lens, like what is the Champions program?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Twilio Champions program is cool. It's iterated, I think, a few different times. I'd be interested in like the internal perception of it, but I got involved, I think like 2018 maybe, and took a hiatus. But it's primarily people who who are Twilio users, either professionally or on their own and interest of it. And it kind of bridges the gap, I think, between the excited customer and the actual like company. It helps helps kind of give the champions some sneak peeks about upcoming products, like where the company's thinking in terms of what's coming next, and how to get access to a few additional resources that otherwise maybe wouldn't be available. And kind of in exchange, we do a lot of a lot of different things. Some of us write blogs on the kind of public blog there, do live streams. I've participated in several different product feedback sessions, either about the docs or some other upcoming products that or potential changes. So yeah, it's kind of like a like a focus group in one way, kind of a super engaged, team, I guess, in another way. But yeah, it's been really cool to be a part of, and kind of see how it has evolved.
Gotcha. I'm also curious.
I was gonna ask one question. Besides the swag, because that hat looks great. What single thing do you feel like is the best part of the program or the most meaningful for you?
I mean, I think it's just really cool to meet other people who, not necessarily like that are excited about Twilio, but just, kind of are excited about technology, right? Like the people who are, in it are generally pretty, pretty interesting people, have cool backgrounds, work on cool technologies. So it's just a really cool way to kind of meet people both in and outside of Twilio that are doing cool things.
Nice.
I think one thing that's kind of interesting, so you mentioned it's definitely gone through a few iterations. I'm kind of curious, like, what role do you feel like these type of programs play, right, for organizations, especially during this time, right? We're doing hybrid work. We're like, so yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like, what role from your lens do you feel like these programs play?
Yeah, I think, I used to run a couple different developer relations programs in the past, and community is always like a focus, to some extent, about, hey, how do we want to engage the community? How do we accept product feedback? How do we, market to the community? And do we do events, all this other stuff? And I think that the Champions program is kind of one view of what that looks like on kind of, for one segment. It's I think super important for product teams to get feedback directly from customers. I don't think anyone's going to take a very controversial anti-stance on that. But even though I think everyone's really into it, not a lot of companies facilitate that in a meaningful way. It's like, oh yeah, definitely got to get customer feedback, and then product managers have nothing but internal meetings their entire week, right? So I think that, programs like Twilio Champions, where you actively engage and kind of cultivate this group of people that, you can get, we could potentially, be called on by any team to be like, hey, like we're thinking about changing up messaging, thinking about adding this new doc feature, a video series, and get some feedback, very easily, I think helps actually turn that, product feedback relationship into reality.
That makes a lot of sense. And I actually like that you're bringing up the product feedback thing, because I also think another risk is over-indexing on the biggest customers who have a relationship with sales and therefore have an into product. Because I mean, I'm in a couple of our product channels on products that I've like helped give feedback for, helped promote, things like that. And I see a lot of, hey, this giant bank wants this feature. And that's not always like, maybe that's a really important feature, and I'm not going to say it's not, but there's also like, what's the developer experience? How do you relate to it? So I'm really glad that we've taken the energy to work with you and find other ways to get feedback. So thank you for doing that for us, Tristan.
Yeah, I'm nothing but grateful on my side as well.
Yeah, I think definitely one thing that comes up with that too is just like not building in a side, like building in reality. Because I do think the larger a company gets, the easier it is to just kind of be like, whatever happens in Twilio world is what is the reality, rather than just being like, no, this is how customers are experiencing. And I think it also reminds me of like even the importance of these like in-person events, because like it's one thing to like digitally get insights. So we have Signal coming up, but that makes me think about like, being able to like be in conversation with the folks that are using your services and tools, and getting that insight firsthand. So that's really helpful context. So, okay, back to you. So we got a sense of, champions. So I'm kind of curious, like you mentioned a little bit of DevRel stuff that you kind of dabbled in. Like, can you walk me through the career journey, right? Like, how did we land here?
Yeah, I need some water for that one. I would say I've had a, not like incredibly non-traditional career path, but it's meandered a little bit. So in school at Northwestern, I studied mechanical engineering and manufacturing. So very like hard, very physical engineering.
Guess what I studied in school?
Mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
It's pretty common.
I'm just excited. I'm excited about the manufacturing part, because I've on the side do things in the venture space. But manufacturing is a space that I've been finding myself very tuned into. But yes, back to you.
Yeah, I think the manufacturing, the program is actually manufacturing and design engineering. So it's kind of like a new program that Northwestern had started. I was, I think, in the second cohort of graduates, but the it's basically like a little bit of mechanical engineering, which was easy to double major with, and then a lot of human-centered design, which I really aligned with and thought was really exciting, and then some like actual like manufacturing, like plant, assembly and things like that. And the design was really what I got into. I was really involved with an organization called Design for America when I was an undergrad, and I just kind of wanted to figure out how can I integrate design into my career journey. The majority of my peers in mechanical engineering were, essentially signing up to, work at big engineering firms like Boeing or Ford or GM, and, sit at a CAD station and, design a wheel, a screw, a sheet metal component, and then spend 6 months doing FAA documentation. And, I thought CAD was pretty cool, but like that sounded miserable to me. And, I always, I didn't study a lot of computer science. I was, pretty heavily computered, I guess, as a child, but I always thought it would be so, kind of similar to the CAD station thing. I didn't want to be like, I don't want to, be at a computer all day typing. Like that doesn't sound very fun either. Joke's on me. But so I didn't have a lot of interest in computer science. So I ended up after school joining Pearson Education, which at the time was a very big company. I think it was 50,000 or so people, very common, name in education. It had grown, as a conglomerate, and it owned, at the time it owned all sorts of stuff like the Financial Times and Madame Tussauds and Penguin Book. And so like it had just kind of grown organically. It originally started as a construction company. And it was just so big, like I think I was there for just under 2 years, and I think I experienced like 2 different reorgs, kind of approaching different strata of the company. And it kind of, opened my eyes a little bit about like, oh, like this is, one view of corporate bureaucracy. I was like really excited about, like, oh, I want to make change in education, and like, the business of education I think is a little bit more challenging than actual education. I was just out of school, so the very thankful for my time there, but I was kind of really interested in at the time I graduated, startups were very hot. San Francisco was the place to be, and so I was trying to like figure out how I could get my way over there, and I ended up getting an opportunity on the in Pearson. I was working. I ended up kind of happenstance, hopping around between kind of like a product management type of role, as well as kind of like a data type of role, and then I ended up with a kind of API platform, or like ended up on a team that had the APIs as part of it. And I had a fair amount of computer experience prior, so I kind of gravitated to that, and I was able to leverage that experience into working for Intuit on the QuickBooks Online platform for their APIs. So doing kind of more like marketing focused DevRel, I would say. Our team did a lot of different events, and we did a lot of kind of account management. We had a big goal around, hey, how can we grow the app platform as much as we can? So we had a lot of kind of hand-holding developers to make that happen. And that was pretty cool. But I kind of wanted to see how I could interact with the product more. How can I make the feedback from customers and the developers that we're serving, and kind of turn that into the product more. And I also realized that I was really into the small business space. I was a small business owner. I think kind of coming from a very large corporate experience. Intuit was still like I think 10 or 12,000 people when I was there, but it made me just get really engaged with like, oh, like you don't have to have a giant business. You can have a small business, deliver value to your local community, and like have a great experience all around. If you think of like a local donut shop or something, it's like, oh, like everyone's happy in that relationship, if it's going well.
Everyone likes the donut shop.
Right. Yeah. Especially the dentist. But the so I kind of got a little more interested in, or I think just really realized that like small business was a thing that I was like and I ended up getting an opportunity to work at Square, now Block, kind of very similar space to Intuit, and they were just starting their kind of developer platform. They'd just gone public, and overall it was like a very exciting time to be at Square. I really look fondly back on my time there. The developer platform, changed and evolved very quickly. The team like grew and expanded really quickly. And, initially I had a little bit more of that opportunity to do more product feedback oriented stuff and kind of be in the developers. I spent a lot of time working on our SDKs, and I did, a lot of the, I did different talks about how we generate our SDKs and kind of evangelize that to the community. But eventually, the role just became much more marketing focused as well. And
doesn't everything become
everything becomes marketing focused?
Everything becomes market. You realize that over time,
That's I think particularly with DevRel, it's such a broad space, right? Like during that time I ran the SF DevRel meetup, which had a pretty decent group. It was interesting because it's like, the people who would come to that, right? It's like, oh, like I'm a community manager. I'm like, oh, I'm on the API platform team. Oh, it's like such a broad space, and the most interesting was like people who'd come, like engineers who'd come in and be like, oh, I want to do DevRel. I just want to like write blog posts all day. And it's like, yeah, that is kind of like what it is, but like
you're like, there's so much.
There's a little more.
Yeah. I will say I'm kind of curious, like if you were to think about, so I love the kind of through line of, you know, small business, but like if you think about like your grand career vision, right? Like what have you seen as like a through line, and how do you see that kind of taking shape, right, as you continue to like evolve in your career? So I'm kind of curious, like what you've observed the through line to be.
Yeah, I think the main line, you know, a little about this realization around small business, but you know, Pearson was like 50,000 people. Intuit was like 10. Square at the time was like, I think I was 1,800. You know, like 2,000 kind of people. I ended up leaving San Francisco and moving to Kansas City for a job. That was like 300 people. And then, you know, currently I work at Right Foot, which is, you know, I was the first employee. So it was, you know, like 4 of us at the beginning.
Startup life.
Oh gosh.
And
Oof,
well,
stress.
I think that's like the thread that I think that, you know, I probably realized, you know, when I was working at Intuit, I was like, oh, I want to work at a much smaller company. And it took me a little while to figure out, like, oh, how much is much smaller? You know,
it's real. It's real.
I did work my way down. But yeah, I think, you know, in terms of like, that's one aspect I think that I do feel like is going to move forward. Like, I feel like I am not as, you know, not as excited about, you know, working for super large megacorps as opposed to, you know, I do think a lot about kind of small business. And what are things that, you know, you can do to kind of shorten that value chain and, you know, kind of prevent, you know, like prevent it from being too complicated, right? Like there's no reason that, you know, a lot of businesses need to grow to a super large size. You know, if you can find something you do and do it well and like doing.
Gotcha. I like that.
I love that message of like, it doesn't need to get too big. And honestly, like I've only worked at startups. Twilio's by 100x the largest company I've worked at. And I think if my job, I don't think I could do my job if it was like, go talk to these big corporations. I think the thing that I enjoy, one of the things that I enjoy about my job, the many things, is talking to the small businesses and talking to the entrepreneurs and talking to the founders. And like, if they were told me that I couldn't keep making content for those people, I don't know if I'd still be here. Heads up. Yeah, no, that's great. I love that. It's hard. The big corps are hard. Yeah.
I also think what I'm hearing there too is just even this aspect of like, I think you want to be able to iterate. You want to feel like, you know, you're connected to the user and just kind of making that impact. So like that. Alex, I'm going to pass it over to you to get all in Tristan's business.
I do want to get all in Tristan's business. I'm going to give you, so Tristan, before we do these, we asked for like things that, are interesting and the personal life that we want to talk about. And Tristan dropped 4 things that I'm excited to talk about, all 4. So I'm going to list them off and then either Tristan or chat can pick. Baking. Tristan's a baker. He is into cycling and like working to like make bike lanes more safe, I think. And then he's got kids. So I got a kid too. And then he really likes sci-fi books. So let's see if Frack gets in there first and wants to talk about cycling. Otherwise, if somebody else has something they want to, one of those topics that sounds interesting. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. You can see the bicycle helmet there. Frackberg is a cycle streamer. So
cool.
So yeah, so you had a position on the board of the Pedestrian and Bicycle Commission for where you live in.
Still, actually,
you do still last night. Tell me about that. What is that? What's your goal? Why do you care so much? In a good way.
Yeah.
Why are you passionate? That's a better way to put it.
Yeah, I think that I love bicycles. I was on the college cycling team. I think I get that from my dad. He was a big bicycle guy. He has all these stories about when he was in the Navy, he'd get dropped off on one side of the island, the boat would go around, and he would just cycle across and get picked up on the other side. So it's something that I really enjoyed. And then we moved to Connecticut about 3 years ago, and we're still kind of getting used to the city. And the we saw a flyer that's like, hey, like, join a board, be part of local city government, and you can kind of apply for different things. And so I did it, and I don't know if it's some kind of quirk of how the selection process worked, but I ended up getting selected for the bicycle and pedestrian committee, and it's I would say it's been eye-opening about the workings of small government. I think that it's been pretty interesting to see how decisions get made, and like how the internal politics. Like, I think that I grew up in a very small town, and I never really thought much about like how how it operated. But you could imagine, like, oh, if me and all my friends ran a city, like, oh, it'd be awesome, right? Like, everything would be cool. But then you realize that, like, oh, like, well, unfortunately, you're not going to be spending it just with your friends. And the amount of discussion that goes into different things, is lengthy, about different, we talk a lot about, our board is really missioned around, providing feedback and advice around the city of West Hartford's, pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure. It comes up a lot with like new development that comes up. So they're building a new, apartment complex and shopping center near us, and so it's like, oh, like, well, the zoning board is around, like, oh, approving the general, like, idea of that development, but we kind of provide some input about, hey, like, here's where all the roads are going to be, like, what, can we put a bike lane in here, like, how are people going to be able to walk across this intersection when there's so much more traffic here? And so we advocate for a lot of these different I would say I've learned a lot more about reflective barriers and paint types that would go on road than I ever expected. And it's a really passionate group. It's kind of a funny thing.
Yeah. I mean, we had a question from Steven. What is a good way you could suggest for local outreach cycling safety?
There are a couple national organizations, but I think from a local perspective, our town is 60,000 people, suburb of Hartford. There's a lot, and Connecticut probably has, I think, 150 different bicycle and pedestrian focused organizations across the state. So generally I would say, like, hey, there's something probably near you that is either trying to do advocacy, either a nonprofit, or potentially with we have organizations both at the town level, that I'm kind of a part of, but there's also regional things, statewide organizations. So definitely do some research and figure out what kind of organizations are already there, because I'm sure there's something. I think is probably my best advice.
I'm kind of okay. So I think sometimes when folks with the eng background, when we go into these little systems that can feel a little slower, we're like, oh my gosh, the friction. I'm kind of curious, what are parts of your eng background that you've taken into kind of that space of local government? And then what do you feel like doesn't really need to be there? So where do you feel like you've learned, and where do you feel like you've contributed with the consciousness of just with an understanding of the background and the POV that you bring? So I'm kind of curious there.
Yeah. I have a couple of different thoughts on that. So I think that one thing to keep in mind, is particularly small government, right? Like, it's made up of people, right? Like, these people have lives and goals and dreams that are all different and unique. And, some things don't happen because, oh, this person's kid was sick, right? Like, there's all these individual impacts that make a difference. And that's even, I missed, a good chunk of meetings, when my daughter was born. And it's like, oh, well, it's personally I value that more than the pedestrian bicycle commission, but it's like, oh, well, potentially, some aspect of local government is suffering, because of my negligence, right? Like, a very small part. So that I think is, helps me build a little more empathy around like, when your building permit doesn't get approved immediately, it's like, well, like, there's a lot of stuff going on that you don't, maybe don't know about. I think one thing that I've kind of helped advocate for, and I think there's definitely a lot more opportunity in this domain, but data. If you think about the amount of data that people in technology deal with on a day-to-day basis, around like, well, here's how many users signed up, and here's all the actions they took, and here's how many requests we served or whatever. Those I think are pretty basic kind of understanding about like, how do we design our system. But if you look at the, there's kind of multiple dimensions of challenges here. But if you think about small government, they may not have the people to kind of have those same perspectives around like data and being able to use it in the right way, right? Like, for me, I might want like a very detailed Excel report about every car that's driven past this road on a for a day-to-day basis, but the only thing that might be available is the summary of like 6 years ago they did a road study and like, here's how many cars that we believe passed through here, maybe. And so there's things like that where if I could wave a magic wand, I think that like in our town, parking is a very highly contested issue. Some people want to park more. A lot of people on bicycles primarily don't want people to park more, but there's but it's a big discussion, and businesses get really involved, right? Like people want people to park at your business. So there's all sorts of opinions, but there's almost no data around some of the things of like, hey, we have this big road, it has parking along the entire road, we're going to put bike lanes on it, like, well, you could take out some of the parking and make better bike lanes. It's like, well, but then we don't have the parking. It's like, well, nobody uses the parking, and no one can really like, nobody can answer that question about like, do people actually use the parking? Right. No, it's not like a paid parking area, and like anecdotally, people who live there are like, well, no one's ever parked there. But then, you get one person that says, oh, well, sometimes I park there, right? And it's like, okay, well, now we have you versus him about what the strategy is, and if we had some kind of magic wand about like, here's how many people were able to, how many parking requests we were able to serve in that area, then like, okay, great, we could actually use some data and make an informed decision. So it's always the thing that I try to bring to the discussion. It's interesting though, because we're about to adopt speed cameras. They'll ticket you too, and one of the interesting things about that is it's a third party company that does the thing. And I'm asking questions about like, well, what kind of data are we going to get from that? Because if you think about it, right, the speed camera presumably would have how many cars drive by, how fast they're going, what time of day they're going, right? It's like presumably there's a timestamp of every car and speed, right, that you could get, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be accessible to us as citizens, right? Like somebody has this data, it's presumably our data, right? Like, should we be able to access it? And then also, there's kind of interesting aspects around like it being a third-party company versus the government itself. We don't have the same ability to like freedom of information it out, right? Or the same kind of law. The signal chat thing, right, is like a very adjacently similar domain of like, like when you use private companies, you're kind of outside the rules that are built to kind of serve the public, right? So it's kind of there's lots of, I can talk about it for a long time.
It's a big topic. I used to have some friends who worked in like the city, the like urban planning world, and it was always fun to listen to them. But I remember one thing in particular. He would get excited a few days, like 2 or 3 days in Chicago after the snow, because what you would get is you would be able to see where everyone actually drives on the road, because you'd see all these big chunks of space that are concrete or asphalt that no one drives on. He's like, well, like there's no reason that can't be a bike lane, no one ever goes here, like it was just, it's when you start looking through that lens. And also the same thing with the speed cameras, it's like, hey, why can't we use this data? Yeah, I wish it was easier. I wish it was easier to do that. Maybe you just need to put a little camera of your own on top of the speed camera and do some tracking, and we get some ML models, and we could do it.
I mean, we talk about like, hey, like let's just get a GoPro and stick it in somebody on the street's window. It's like analyze the footage for a couple of weeks about how many people actually park on this road.
Yeah.
It's like we could potentially get that data.
It seems easy, but then it's public.
One thing that actually came up, because I'm like connecting your Intuit stuff with even just like Square, I'm like, I do wonder what ways local businesses, so I think about like downtowns, and there's probably tons of data of like volume, right, of customers that might come in for physical orders or things like that, but that might even be a way. So I am kind of curious, who knows, like the ways in which we can kind of connect all the different pieces. But yeah, the data piece is actually super insightful. This aspect around like making decisions, and I think we underestimate how much government, just like so much of it is manual. So much,
so much of it is the loudest person in the room.
Yeah, and I think, and then also like people's relationship to data, right? And I think that in of itself is a huge opportunity. So it's like, if folks feel like data isn't necessarily being used to empower, folks are gonna be like, do we really need more tracking? And people are like, big tech, not realizing that like, hey, tech in the right hands could do a little more good than we assume. But I think just like better decision making. But I didn't even think about like how data obsessed tech is. Now this is making me just even think about my personal life of just how I'm like, what's the data? Data here, data there, or data everywhere. What are the details? I need the facts. And I was like, wow, this is probably not helpful for relationships. Great. Anywho, so we're all in your business, Tristan, but we're gonna transition a little bit. We have more questions about like your personal life to ask you. But now we want to transition over to sponsored, not sponsored.
There we go. Got it.
Okay. I'm ready. Y'all may not be ready.
Hit it, Bianca. You go.
But I am ready. First up, we have a scalp massager.
Ooh.
Because why not? Handy dandy scalp massager has a little red light scenario on what is it? Got it off of Amazon. Arbo leaf scalp massager. Multi-purpose. Could be for massage relaxation, because why not? Because the older you get, actually, see, I don't have an affiliate link. I'll send it to Brent. Brent holds all our affiliate dollars at this point. He'll just share it. He'll share it with us.
Brent just needs to we'll make a corporation, and Brent can join the affiliate side.
Basically,
and help it all for us. Yeah.
Brent will Brent's our affiliate link holder. So
Bianca, are you eating anything today? I feel like there's usually a food.
Oh my gosh, I know. I ate, so I did have it. But
you ate it already.
I did.
Yeah.
So Whole Foods has these organic cooked beets. I don't know what's going on with my computer.
What's it called?
Today. The organic cooked beets from Whole Foods. It's been great. So cooking beets is like sometimes the most annoying thing ever. Sometimes you gotta put in like a pressure cooker. Yes, fantastic. That's it. Mm-hmm. So organic cooked beets, it's great. And I'm a beet stickler. Okay. So like I like a good flavored beet, and that one is great. So it's been wonderful. And then sometimes I don't feel like pulling out the pressure cooker to boil beets.
Beets take forever and they're messy.
Agreed. So that was my food thing. So I put it in a little salad. It was great. So nice. I've been on a bowl kick. Apparently they say for millennials, bowls are the new casseroles for us. And I was like, wow, I see it, because everything's a bowl. I was like, wow, rice, greens, grains, meat, a little protein there. So yeah, that's what we got going on.
There you go.
Thank you for joining my segment of Sponsor Not Sponsor. Who wants to go next? We got Tristan.
Tristan, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, boom.
I've got one item here. I should have maybe cleaned it up a little bit more. Oh, this side's nicer. This is the two bringer.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of frame to make it better. But the so what you do, I should have brought. What you do is you I'm not gonna have anything good around here, but you basically you get like a tube, toothpaste or cosmetics or something, paint. You stick the back end on there, and then
does it like roll through it? That's cool.
And basically you close it up, and then you kind of crank this, and it'll gear action. It'll squeeze all of the toothpaste or whatever you have to the front, and so it helps you get more of your product. If you think about expensive paints or cosmetics, probably our most valuable kind of commodity you might use it for. You waste them in the tube, but you can't get it all out, right? You're just leaving money on the table. So you invest in this Gill Mechanical Company from Eugene, Oregon, tube ringer, and then maximize your dollar on toothpaste and other products.
I like it.
It's very sturdy.
That looks sturdy. That looks like it can any tube it can handle.
I like that. For itself probably several times over by now.
Yeah. yeah. I feel like I've seen little plastic ones, but I like that one.
It seems very heavy duty. Very heavy duty.
Yeah. So Tristan, you got children too. I'm actually, my sponsor not sponsor today is gonna be a toy. So I found these things when I was at a really cool toy store in Italy, although they're made in the US. And they're these like little like magnetic, they're really satisfying to play with. They like clip really well. And you can make all these like interesting little things with them. Like there's different shapes. I made her a little firefly. It's like a kind of, I don't know, it kind of feels like a new version of Magnetiles, which they're just like awesome. I'll remember the name in a second. It's Clixo, CLIXO. I'll pull it up in a moment. But I like we've gotten those for a few friends. It's just like a cool different toy that's kind of neat. And I had to again go to Europe to find this thing, but
all comes down to marketing.
It all comes down to marketing. It's just where I found it, but it's made here, and they're just like, you can do some pretty cool stuff with them. So if this is a fun gift if you're looking, and there's cheaper packs than $100. I'm not buying that for anybody. But this is just like a fun gift if you need something for a kid. I just happened to pull up the most expensive one. I'm sorry. You can also get them. You can also get a $20 pack. That's more reasonable. But yeah, that's a fun one. And then I'm gonna do a book too because I always do books. And this one, oh whoopsies, there we go. I was debating on a few. And I think I'm gonna save one and do this one today because. Books by Brandon Sanderson, because I know that Tristan also reads some Brandon Sanderson. This is from his Year of Sanderson. During 2020, this particular author wrote 4 books for his wife. This was, in my opinion, the best of them. I really like the fairy tale style of it, Trust the Emerald Sea. It's also, the book itself is like just beautiful. Like there's pictures in it, and it's like, it's just here. Cool. I'm pulling up. It's like a gorgeous book. Like here's some of the pictures on the inside. It's just like a beautiful book. But Brandon Sanderson is like, I don't know if anybody else in chat has read him, but he's like a preeminent fantasy author of our day. And I'm not afraid of him not finishing his series because the man puts out 1,000+ page book a year. Like he writes and he doesn't stop writing. And he's just, I love his books, his stories, his worlds. Tristan, what have you read from him?
I didn't read the most recent metallurgy book that came out like last year, but I read the rest of that series. I read the blanking on the other, what's the other fantasy with the knights and the
so that's the
Stormlight
Archive and the Mistborn Saga were the 2 that you've mentioned so far.
Yeah, so I read those. I Trust is on my list. I haven't read that one, and I haven't read his there's a space themed one. It starts with an E.
Skyward or Elantris?
Elantris.
So Elantris isn't space themed, but it's the first book that he wrote, but it's still part of the Cosmere. Skyward is space themed, and Skyward is like a YA, not in the Cosmere. A lot of his books are like linked in what he calls the Cosmere. And like, it's really cool to see the people start from one series start showing up in the other one. But yeah, he's great.
I agree. He's awesome. Very happy to have read him.
Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us reading books.
Reading books, eating our vegetables.
I would say that reading is nothing is more detrimental to my daily life than reading, because I'll read before bed, and especially when I was going through the Stormlight Archive, I was like just turning page. I would have to like 2 a.m. just like reading, like, oh man, this is not good. I have that problem right now because the books I'm reading are really engaging, and I have to like consciously stop. I did it last night early enough. Yeah, it's not good.
This is good. This is good, people. Cool. Okay, so thank you, everyone, for joining this segment of Sponsored Not Sponsored. Lots of good stuff. As always, stay tuned to Brent's affiliate links because we are going to create a store and put it on Brent. Brent, just share the proceeds with us. Great. So, okay, next up, we are excited to Tristan, you have a demo, right, that you wanted to kind of share with us, something like that. Yeah. Or we'll build it together. So yeah, we'll do that. If you want to kind of intro your demo, but again, you're not here by yourself. We're with you. Okay. So this is, we're gonna have a little fun here. Okay. So yeah, in my mind, I was thinking, 2 hours, that's definitely plenty of time to make the whole thing. And like, actually, maybe should have adjusted that a little bit. But we'll get somewhere. We'll get somewhere. Yep. Let me change my camera, I guess is the best. Okay. Because I'll show you. Have you ever heard of pen plotters? And we talked about them briefly. I guess I'm introducing it to chat now. Have you ever heard of pen plotters? Chat, have you ever heard of pen plotters? Boom. They look kind of like this. Is this upside down? Yeah. I don't know. That's probably just going to be how it is. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is a pen plotter at its base degree. You can see there's a work surface over here, and then this thing back here can. Oh, hold on. Gotta do a little CLI command to let it be free. So there's a little arm that has a pen on it, and basically you write software that controls the arm to then like do some drawing for you, and so this used to be called generative art before AI kind of took over. So you can still call it generative art, but now I think pen plotter might be a little bit more descriptive. But you can do cool stuff. Let me see some of my. So you can take existing imagery and then write software to then like modify it. Can you see that? Yeah, we got it. Yeah. So that's David Bowie, and basically that's taking a picture of David Bowie, looking at all of the brightness or luminosity values of each pixel, kind of grouping them into areas that are darker and lighter, and then applying a few different algorithms to kind of spread them out a little more evenly, and then connecting each of those points with the three nearest neighbors. Got it. So you used that. This was drawn with your pen plotter. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I have a couple other. Does it lift the pen off the paper, or the pen's always on the paper? It does lift the pen off the paper. Okay, so it's like a proper 3 degree of freedom robot in some ways. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like 2.5 because it's basically on off, but okay. But yeah. Same idea. So I did a series for the local library. This one's going to be based on a similar. This was a post cool. That said read. Let me see. So if we ever get a handwritten note from you, Tristan, it might be the pen plotter. The impetus of me buying this was doing our wedding thank you cards. Wow, man, I should have thought of that. This is a picture. So that I don't know how is that T Swift? That is. Wow. And it's one continuous line, and that's cool. It's a spiral, and then you basically
modulate the amplitude of this, how the spiral as you go through and around the circle.
This is cool.
Yeah, that's a pen plotter. I was thinking that I can maybe get something going here. So it has a Inkscape. Let me just get back to my face, since that'll be a little more interesting probably. It has an Inkscape extension. This is called AxiDraw. This is the model that I have. They actually recently sold, and so now I think it has a different name, but same product. But it's primarily used through an Inkscape extension. So Inkscape is a vector editor. It's open source, like Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. But they also have a CLI tool. You can control it all through Python. I've never used the CLI before, but that's what we will do today. And my intention was to try to build something like, hey, like if you got like a message, SMS, can you take that message and take it to the physical world, write it down for you. So we'll see how far I get in the time that we have allotted here.
That's great. Well, I feel like this is the start of a business, like text, and then we'll send a physical card to somebody.
Hey, Brent, let me know, where I send the affiliate links.
Yeah, exactly. We can, wouldn't it be so much better to get all those "Hey you up" messages via post? You're muted, Bianca.
Jokes aside, I do think it might be even with like, oh man, I'm thinking of, there's a startup that we talked to for, why am I blanking on their name? But they recorded memories. Story. But I am wondering, like, is there an aspect of story that could be like, you can have like handwritten, so even just like transcribing into that the physical aspect. But yeah, I don't know, kind of sparked my brain. But
yeah.
Are you guys hearing anything too annoying?
It's not annoying.
No.
Okay, so I just did start off a little test print so you can kind of see what's going on there. And there's a little bit of logic built into the firmware about like how you order the paths and stuff like that. And I'll show you the.
So this kind of hits on. I mean, because when you're manufacturing and design stuff, did you do any like CNC style?
Oh
work?
yeah. No,
Okay.
we did CNC.
So this kind of hits on that a little bit too.
Yeah, and I think if you think about, I guess Bianca, back to your question about like, the thread. It's like I feel like I have kind of a weird combination of skills in terms of, I have this kind of background in mechanical engineering and robotics and electronics. I've done DevRel, so and then I'm also in small business. So it's like, where what are the things that kind of coalesce all those things together? This is a SVG. I'm just trying to pay attention to it. It's not a very smart robot, so it will try to stab through the paper, like things like that. So you kind of have to pay attention to it, especially when you set it up haphazardly. This is an SVG I got just kind of online. And so it's just kind of churning away. I can let me share my screen, and then we can see how fast I can connect this into SMS.
Okay.
Lovely.
Very cool. So Alex, you'd mentioned, what is it? You had mentioned something,
CNC?
No, the 2 degree.
Degrees of freedom.
Oh yeah. So basically, degrees of freedom are like the different dimensions in which something can move. So the fact that this robot is moving both like in the X dimension and the Y dimension, like if you're thinking about like old school, geometry, like horizontal and vertical, that would be the 2 degrees. And then Tristan said 2.5, because like, if it was truly a 3 degree of freedom robot, it could also go up and down. This one can go up and down, but there's only like 2 states. So it's not a full 3 degree of third degree of freedom. Steven had a question. What applications do you use to convert an image to something processed by a plotter? Would it be a slicer G-code generator like these commonly used by 3D printers?
Oh, good question. So yeah, under the hood, essentially the AxiDraw uses G-code. So if you kind of go deep into the serial connection between it, and some people kind of modify theirs to just kind of run directly. You can send it direct G-code commands, but the main thing you do is for this particular use case is converting things to vector, right? So if you have a bitmap image, you need to figure out how to turn that into a text file of lines and different shapes essentially that can be used directly by either the AxiDraw itself or can be translated into essentially the G code, or kind of like the slicing, it's like the world of slicing would be for 3D printing. But yeah, a lot of things that you want to print, it's hard to take a existing thing and then convert that over to like a good vector image that would make sense for plotting. And so primarily you kind of see we're off the page here.
This is live, folks. This is live.
Oh, I just moved the paper. That's the big no-no.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It'll be interesting. Maybe that's part of the art.
Yeah, I didn't think of
Does the pen matter? I'm kind of curious as a pen person.
So much.
Okay.
you wouldn't believe how many pens I've tried.
Okay.
And yeah, you gotta trying to figure out where all my pens are.
Bianca only uses plotter-worthy pens.
No, I've been using what is it? Oh gosh, I forgot which one. But yeah, I like a good pen. Pens are makes or breaks the vibes.
So yeah, I've got some pens that I.
Oh yeah, you do.
Oh, okay.
This is the Pentel Intergel RTX.
Ooh.
You
could have done this for your sponsor, not sponsored too.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't know if I love it or not. For my cards, actually, I used a fountain pen. You can mount it kind of at an angle and have pretty good success like that. And,
was it able to do calligraphy?
It can't do like variable pressure.
Okay.
Make lines thicker. So not really.
Okay.
Individual lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, things that you don't necessarily think about when you're normally writing is that, like, this entire plot would take 52 minutes if we did the whole thing.
Right.
And so, if your pen dries out at all in 52 minutes, you're so that's why gel pens are primarily used. It doesn't the mechanism basically just rests. I don't know if you can really see it, but the mechanism just rests basically the pen on the paper and moves it around. It doesn't push down actively.
Okay.
And so ballpoints and things like that, where you require a
little pressure
force, even if it's small. Some people put like rubber bands on it, but then you physically wear your pen down for a plot like this, that pen's going 500 feet, right? One thing you also don't consider is that like you'll run out of ink. Like you will use up an entire pen, in a couple of art pieces.
Interesting.
So yeah, the pen does matter.
Cool.
Okay.
Should we jump into some code?
Yeah.
You ready?
I was just I feel like it's important to try out new AI coding things, so I've been
Cool. Are you good for me to bring your
Oh
screen?
yeah, go for it. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. Can you do like Control Plus a few times just to make it a little more readable on screen?
Yes. I'll have to. I don't have a plus sign on my keyboard, so I have to, or at least one that I can't hit with Control. So let me just zoom in. Oh, that's not right.
I think that was out.
Yeah, I just made my window bigger. View.
One more, whatever you just, or yeah.
Hold on. View. Appearance. And then zoom in. Is that better?
Okay.
You want more?
Give
More?
me, I think that's probably good, but maybe one more might be nice.
More.
As we can see it doing its, we can see it plotting.
Yeah.
Smidge.
Appearance, zoom in. Okay.
Okay.
Sweet. That's great.
Cool. Let me check that up. So this, yeah. So I got this this particular SVG online, and it's not too terribly messed up from moving the page. But yeah, the general premise is, hey, can I take take an inbound webhook from SMS and then convert that incoming message to text and then to an SVG of that text and then plot that on the paper.
Nice.
And I'm kind of starting from pretty low scratch. So
That's great. We like that.
So we'll see what we go here. So I just had Klein make me a simple hello world thing. And then do you guys know, I feel like I remember VS Code giving you like a ngrok type thing for free?
I just use ngrok usually.
You just use ngrok?
Yeah. But if you don't have that, I can look it up for you though.
I think,
Let's see. And somebody, if anyone in chat has that.
oh yeah.
Let's see. A VS Code tunnel. No, that's, wait, is that right? I mean, you can integrate VS Code or ngrok into VS Code. Let me see if, oh, here we go. I found it. Local port for with VS Code. No. Yeah, hold on. Let's see.
I feel like when you, my only hint is I think that when you've seen,
yeah.
when you like open up a port locally, you get like a little thing.
Yeah, if you start a server, you can go to ports. Oh, I don't see it on the bottom there. What do you need to do? Let's see.
Oh, I need to start my server.
Support for port forwarding is built into Visual Studio Code via Microsoft Deb Tunnels. No extension required. When running a local web server, you can use the ports view to make the service accessible to others over the internet. So it might just be once you run it, the ports pop up.
Got ports over here.
Yeah, try that. Forward a port.
Forward a port to the internet. Port 3000.
That's cool. I didn't know about this.
Wants to sign in using GitHub. Why not? I use GitHub.
Do you have a Twilio number you want to use for this? Do you want me to set up an inbound Twilio number that just forwards to you?
Oh yeah, you want to set that up? That'd be great.
Sure. Yeah, we can work together on this.
Open this up.
We're all in this together.
Who would have known I got a Twilio account somewhere that can accept
Wow.
SMS?
Who knew?
Look at me
Ooh.
balling.
Wow. All the dollars.
All the dollars. Yes. Yeah, cool. I'm just going to forward whatever message comes in straight to you, and I'm not going to share that number out so that we don't have everybody trying to make your plum plotter go at once.
Nice. Okay. Oh, okay. Looks like
Sweet.
I got this thing.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and like send that to me either like in the doc that we made, or I don't know how you want to send that to me, but
Just put it in our chat.
great. Yeah, put it in the little chat. Yeah, perfect. I can get it from there. Sweet.
I think that works now.
Yeah.
I guess I could give myself a little GET request here.
Cool. Okay, I'm getting into my Twilio account. And you just want me to send the webhook to this end, or is there you just got to tell me what you want me to do?
Yeah, let me play around with this a little bit. So I just went to it on my browser and I had to do some kind of login experience. I'm wondering if that's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah.
You need to log in. So
you might need to like add a /message port or something like that. Not in there, like in your doc, but I don't know. You can decide.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if there's some kind of visibility private. Can I public?
I know. Well, I'm glad they're keeping us private for starters.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's a good call.
Okay, so that's good. So yeah, I think you should be able to use that link.
Cool.
Set that as an SMS inbound thing. And I could send me the number.
I don't even think I need to send you the number. I think it'll just, when the number gets a text, it'll show
I
you.
just want to text it to get some.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I will send you the number in just a moment.
Cool.
I'm just trying to figure out which one to give you.
Alex, why are you gatekeeping the numbers?
I'm not trying to gatekeep the number. I'm sorry.
I'm joking. I was like, you don't need the number.
Is there any do you just want me to send it to like the raw endpoint, or do you want me to send it to like /SMS? What do you want me to send it to?
Yeah, I think this raw endpoint would be fine.
Great. Okay. Messaging configuration is going to go to a webhook. Cool. Let me make sure that works. Sweet. Okay, I think I got it. Send you the number. Okay. So message should come in, and then we need to do something with it. Which, you would figure out with the messaging docs to do it there. So
Okay. There we go. So I was able to get a request here. And I haven't used Express in a little bit. If we just log out just the body, right?
Yeah, you could do the body. Let's see, what's the data structure? I'm looking through the docs on the back end while you're doing that.
Nice.
Let's see. Okay. Let's see what the
Undefined in the request.body, which makes sense. I just did a GET request. Let me try our text message and see if we get a more exciting body. Love this. Love this area code.
Got it. Got to give you the Chicago area code, man.
Yeah.
Aw,
Sweet.
Personalization. Oh, cute. So cute.
Let's see. It might be.
I got a response about Alex's trivia game.
Did I not save my configuration? Hold on. I do use that number for my trivia game that I just used for you too. This is what happens when you don't have enough numbers. I just need more Twilio numbers.
I got a TRISTAN number. I won't tell the area code, but
nice. Let me just get this working. Sorry, I always have to I forget because there's different ways that you choose what you want your senders to do. Where am I looking here? Why am I spacing out? Let me see. Is this what I need? No, because I've got my. Sorry. Now I'm the one who's looking silly, not able to do the things I want to do.
I'm just glad the pressure is not on me.
No.
Shared pressure.
You're good.
Shared pressure. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if it's possible to make an SVG dynamically like this.
That'll be interesting.
I should have maybe explored that a little bit more.
I've got, so basically what I'm going through is like my phone number's attached to a service, and I think it's defaulting to the service webhook and not the number default webhook. And I just need to change that. I'm forgetting where I do that. But I will figure it out in just a second.
A great thing that looks like it does exactly what I want.
You got one? There's probably a library somewhere that does what you want.
This one says, who knows what kind of supply chain exploits I'm going to be installing here, but but there's something called text to SVG. So
only time will tell, you know.
Only time will tell.
There we go.
I got to wipe the computer after this.
I think I figured it out. I just I just clicked the wrong button. But under your services, under integrations, you can actually like default to your sender's webhook, and that should do it.
All right, I'll give that a shot. Let me run that server again and send another message.
Developing live on stream.
Okay, we got the post. Request body still didn't work though.
So just looking at the docs, you let's see, it's your body will come through as a let me see here. So I'm just, oh no, that's not what I need. I just need to read the message. Where am I going here? Inbound SMS. That's right. Looking through some docs.
I think there's something.
Okay, so you're gonna wanna. So there's a message response in Twilio that you're gonna need to pull from the Twilio things to read it. So if I'm looking at here, I'll share my screen for a second, and you can see what you need from there, and I can paste it to you. But hold on. Ooh, there we go. So you're gonna need to get the messaging response TWIML. So pull that in from Twilio, and then you'll define your TWIML as a new messaging response, and then oh wait, this is
That's for sending a message.
Oh, this is for sending, receiving an without sending a response.
Receive incoming.
Yeah, but that's send. This isn't what we need. This is just responsing. How do we look at why am I I feel like this should be the most easy thing ever to just like get the structure here.
I think it was an Express thing.
Let's see, messaging resource overall. Okay, here we go. No, these are reading lists of messages. It's from that. Let's see. Yeah, it should just be body.
That's kind of what I thought. Now we have this JSON thing, but wasn't there something called like busboy?
Busboy. I don't know about that one.
Press post body.
Back to yours.
Oh yeah, it says use this express.json.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm struggling with this right now.
I think also because you didn't start it, so I think having to like jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Don't be so hard on yourself, Alex.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I haven't just used Twilio functions.
Yeah. This is the first time I haven't used Studio for something in a while.
Yeah.
Live. Just everything's live. Everything's just going with the go.
After here, I think maybe this will work.
But yeah.
Okay, so we get this. So it looks like this is what you need. This use Express.json. It looks like this doesn't seem to be triggering. So that I think is probably some of our challenge here. We seem to be hitting this path, but I'm not sure. It says it's the path. Oh, this is for Git, and we're posting now.
Yes, that might have been the problem too.
That's probably part of our issue here. Boom, now we got something.
Seeing it with new eyes.
Let's see. Okay, we still don't have a post body.
Let's see.
Body is undefined.
So a get or a post. Let me look at Twilio's request to your application. Parameters, yeah. So it should just be the it should just be the body with a capital B. I don't know if you're doing that.
A capital B?
Yeah. Well, so the body, well, you have the body, and then within the messaging thing, it's a capital B body for on Twilio's side.
Oh yeah,
But
I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. So yeah, it's just the body of the message.
Yeah, expects. Let's see. It makes a synchronous HTTP request. The message URL configure that number. Following parameters are requested as post parameters or URL query parameters, depending on which.
I feel like this is a classic 5-minute demo that I haven't built in a long time.
Yeah. Are post parameters different than the body? Is it URL?
You could just console.log the request and see what it looks like too.
Well, I did up here, and
Oh yeah.
there's a bunch of stuff. None of it particularly seems. I don't see anything like URL parameters. It doesn't have it has a body thing. Params. It looks like it's kind of empty.
Yeah, I don't know where's all the data coming from Twilio.
Where is that? I mean, it seems like an Express thing that's probably just
Not pulling it the way you want to.
Yeah. Like, what is? Can you change it to do GET requests instead? I think.
Yeah.
It might be easier just to get the.
For sure. I'm just gonna see if I can see the. Oopsies. I'm just gonna see one thing first. If I can see the payload here. Message created and queued. Message received. Twiml fetch succeeded. XML. Request. Let me see this. Hold on.
See if I can find
I think it's in the post request specifically.
Yeah. I agree.
Because like if I'm looking here, we've got like this is the post that came in, and there's a request, and then I assume it would be like the parameters.
What does show raw data look like? Is it just a JSON form of this? Oh, interesting. It's not JSON at all.
No, it's query params.
Our query params.
Hold on, let me see. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Sending it to you. Let me see. Let's figure out what's going on here. Look at us figuring it out on stream.
Debugging. This stream is called debugging, right?
Essentially.
Testing.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Testing, debunking, not debunking.
Debunking. We're debunking all of your tech.
You know?
Yeah.
It was a little debugging action.
Do you want me to make it a yeah, it's just a webhook. Yeah, do you want me to make it a get instead of a post?
Yeah, make it a get. That
Okay.
just works.
Sweet. Switch to get.
Little live coding action. Yeah, this is where the whole trying new things gets to me. I've been doing it like workout wise, and I'm just like, why can't I be perfect? You know what I mean? Like,
I was so good before, you know?
you know what I mean? I'm like, ew, why do I introduce challenge? And it's like, whoa, I'm not perfect. I'm not sticking the landing. So that's not exciting. So, you know, you were perfect this morning, Tristan, and now you're like, wow, let me push the boundaries. And now you're like, wow, is this working? Not yet. So here we are.
Okay, so I think we're getting somewhere here.
Okay.
Switching
So
over.
what did you just do?
So we switched over to the Git, which I am better suited to figure out how to process that in Express. I feel like it's an Express issue, so I don't.
Okay.
I think it's all on me. So now we're getting those query parameters from the webhook, and now you can see this is what I'm texting over. I guess I can do another one here. So this is the text. We're getting our text from the SMS correct now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to turn it into an SVG image.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which hopefully with the package I was looking at, feels like ages ago now.
It was like an hour ago. No, I'm kidding.
It seems to have this little. Wow! If it's this easy, we're going to be home free. So
what do we got? We're logging the body request.query. Is it request.query or request. This is so confusing because I'm looking at an example where it's request.body.body.
Well, so this is that's a post request. Which
okay.
I don't think we have the right middleware. I don't know what Express's middleware always was confusing to me, but with the GET request, it puts them as query parameters in the URL, and so we're taking that body query parameter,
great,
and that has the text of it. And now we're using this text to SVG package to hopefully log out an SVG of the text that we send in the body, and I guess it's going to be blue since that's what the example said.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll send another message. Okay, we get a binary file, which is
that what you wanted?
Yeah, I was hoping for text, I guess, but like an SVG here. But what do we got? Buffer.
Now you're working on stuff I can't help with because I haven't
is a
done
buffer
text SVG stuff.
So now I'm going to see if I can get it to become a string instead of this buffer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hey, look at that. This is an SVG.
Okay.
Probably.
So in theory, this would be something that your thing can understand and write.
Yes. And we will figure that out here shortly, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to get a little autocomplete help here.
That's right.
I know we're so used to writing with like all the AI assistants too.
I want to see. Look at this. You know what I want to do.
RJ, where were you when we needed you with the Twilio stuff? Come on,
Mm-hmm,
you're telling me I'm trolling.
Are we getting some comments?
Yes.
Saying that I was trolling, but RJ, when he's able, provides very good support on stream, which is really nice of him.
Great debugging. RJ's like, no, do this, go over here, turn left, right, left, all the things. Oh gosh, responsibilities. What are those?
Oof.
Wow, RJ, can't believe you working. Ugh.
Just lurking today. Fine, RJ. We see how it is.
I mean, I guess, tending to your responsibilities important. I mean, we are too, just in other ways. Oh gosh, that's real.
Wait, you're working at 9 p.m., man? Whew. That's rough.
Oh yeah, forget. In my heart, RJ, RJ is a neighbor.
Is our neighbor.
Our neighbor and neighbor. But you're not.
Okay.
All right.
Took a look at.
You wrote a file.
I wrote a file
SVG that, in theory, has the text of whatever you just sent.
Yes, and that seemed to more or less work.
Okay.
The only thing that didn't work was being able to render an SVG in VS Code, but whatever.
That's fine.
And so then I'm just going to have Klein do this because I don't remember the. So then I'm just going to spawn the command line utility around the axi draw to do the rest of it.
Nice.
And I'm still I feel like very new to the whole AI coding stuff, but it seems worthwhile.
Sometimes it's like I want to use it more, but then I feel like it's more energy to use. I don't know. Curious to hear what everyone
I do feel like
use it.
I wonder though if it's like it's a kind of different style. So it's like I wouldn't write like this, or I would like. I think we all have like our styles of how we, do things. So then I feel like the AI starts to introduce.
Oh yeah.
Like its own way of writing things. You're like, I don't talk like this. I don't write like this either. So then I don't know. I think over time maybe that might improve too, but just like write like me. What's my style of writing code?
I'm sure it'll get better.
It's reading your code.
Ooh.
Figuring out what to add.
Did not. Oh, I updated the file kind of mid request here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What are you using in there? Is that
this is called Klein. It's like a
cool. Yeah, I've got Klein. Yeah. And what do you plug it into an AI?
I'm using DeepSeek's.
Nice.
Because it's very cheap. So you can really mess around with it. Okay, so this looks more or less like what I want.
Mm-hmm.
There's that sample. Okay, so let's
yes, you're writing it, and then you're using the exec command to run a command line that prints it in theory.
That would print it.
Okay.
I'm gonna change my camera on over to the axi draw, which has been working dutifully here.
Yeah.
Well, we've just been chatting. And our
that's cool.
Our artwork is, well, I guess that's about as good as it's going to be.
I like it.
Because we're going to interrupt it now. So.
Okay.
Aww.
So exciting.
Bye, Axi.
Look, I think this is the first physical artwork we've made on A/B testing, right?
Wow. Look at this. You got to sign it, Tristan.
Subscribe today and get this mailed to you.
Okay, thank you. This is great. First piece of art. We might auction it. Proceeds go to, I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, but yeah, sorry. This is cool. It's like our built some
Cat
art.
says dibs.
Dibs. Okay, that's real. I guess.
I'll bring it to Signal.
Perfect.
Oh, maybe we can. We could actually do a Signal piece. We'll have a win a Tristan original.
Yeah.
At Signal. That could just be the. I'm just saying. I'm joking, but I'm not. So, I'm just saying.
So get excited. Okay, so load it there with a new piece of paper.
Okay, cool.
The other thing that you got to do is move the arm back to the home spot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not me thinking it was going to be automatic. I was like, with your hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Whoa.
that's actually because typically with like CNC type stuff, you'd put in a little button that then the motor would just run until it hits the button. For whatever reason, this one doesn't. I mean, actually, it's kind of nice because you can, if you wanted to start your plot like in the middle, you can just move it to the middle, like.
Okay.
But the I'm not totally sure how the CLI thing's going to work, so let's give it a shot here.
Sweet.
And that just says error.
You gotta send something fun. You can't just send tests.
Well, let's see if it works.
Well.
Okay, so that did not work. Oh, bummer.
What do we got? We got.
How much do you guys know about Python?
What?
How much do you guys know about Python? Was my question.
I mean, I know a little bit about Python, but where's that?
So the Axis CLI command is a Python package that you install, and Python has this whole world of environmental.
Like you need the pyenv.
Yeah, and I don't exactly know how to do that.
Could you? What do you normally do? Like, there's normally a code you run, right? Like it's
pyenv. So go to. Oh, that's an interesting idea. So just run all those commands.
Could you just run that into the exec beforehand? Probably not the right way to do it, but it's a way to do it.
Yeah, this is honestly this and the spaces thing is why I've never.
Yeah, could you just run that? Yeah, that one.
Yeah. It's a good. Yeah, let's try that. I think we should just be able to do this.
So you could either run that. Yeah, I was like, because I don't know what window that's running in.
I guess we could do something like
paste and then colon or whatever it is
on its own shell, right? So
yeah, we
want to do something like this.
Yeah.
And see if that works.
Oh, this is fun. I don't know if I've done the.
Oh!
Wow, is it going?
I mean, I heard the motors activate, but nothing happened.
But I saw, we saw through the message.
It's like sort of worked here.
Just talking to each other.
Let me.
It would have been wild if this just worked. I'm just gonna say, like,
yeah,
a lot of things happen in the background here.
They did.
Okay, let's. I think I need. I think there's probably some interesting text here. I forget the function. Do you get error before callback? There's some kind of like, standard out.
And you're trying to get the output from the.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll see. Let's see what I can find online.
I think I can just do this.
Let's see.
Okay, we don't get any interesting output there, but the motors turn on, which is.
It's ready.
Cool.
We're getting somewhere.
Let's see. I think you add a. No, that's not right. Add a callback. Oh yeah, and then you have a function, like you have a callback to a function that outputs the error.
So I think I'm getting the output here, but it looks like.
Yeah.
So ls command worked, and I see the sample SVG in there. I wonder if so that like seems to work. Let's see.
What if you just run the command from here to make sure that it's working? Like the Axis CLI sample.svg, because I wonder if it's that, like if the files.
Well, I'm thinking that this this spawns it's a new shell, right? So it's kind of a different.
True.
But yeah, I do want to see if that works more or less. So let's.
I like this code. You bringing in a.
Okay, so it knows CLI. It gets this part, but this does not seem to work correctly. Which I wonder if this is actually working 100%, and then our SVG just is not. Yeah,
Right. That's
because if you look at the SVG, so you can set it to. This is what this output ping is. It'll give you basically a representation of what it is drawing, and it looks like that is. Oh, this is. Looks like my output is the same as the input. So I think that maybe our text to SVG package was not
doing exactly what you need.
Doing. Oh. Okay, I think I might have a couple options here. How are we on time? I haven't looked at that.
Well, let's try one more thing, and then we'll
see.
We'll see where we get.
There's a stroke width parameter. That might be part. So you need a physical stroke to do. Oh.
Wow. Oh my gosh!
I can't believe we got that work. This is so cool.
Okay, so that's
it worked.
Test.
Well, I wasn't doing cool messages anymore.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But then you can use your little utility here to try to. Oops, not which. I want to move it around a little bit, and then we should be able to.
Can I text to that number?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you got the number in chat, Bianca?
I do.
Cool.
Chat away, and then we'll see what your message. Well, it's like a secret message decoder.
I know.
Okay.
No one's seeing the message except the little robot here. Okay. It's pretty quick too, writing this.
Yeah, I mean, for something like this,
there's a lot of shading and
Well, it's all about how many line segments there are. So picking up the pen and then moving it is very slow comparatively. So really drawing is, if you have just one continual line, it's very fast.
Nice.
But if you've got a lot, then it's not so fast. You send a message, Bianca?
Yes. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, I just want to make sure
you're working on it. Just make sure that it's actually working. This is like so. I feel like I'm on the edge of my seat here, waiting to see what Bianca says that we're
ready.
In physical space.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Send it.
You ready for my message?
Well, the machine's ready.
It's going.
The angle, we can't quite see it, but we'll see it in a moment.
I can.
I wonder if StreamYard we can.
Ooh, there we go.
Is that any better?
We're gonna pull it away a little bit. Oh, wait, did you throw some emojis in there?
No.
Oh god, that would be crazy.
No, I didn't.
Oh wow. Oh wow, Bianca. Who would have thought? Oh, it's so funny how the way that it thinks of it, because it like goes back sometimes and writes stuff.
It forgot two ends, but
that's okay.
All right. Yeah.
And we're off the page.
Oh, okay.
It'll come back in and fill it in.
Interesting. That's kind of cool. How is it even thinking about this logic?
Bianca just... Of course. That's amazing. Never going to give you up. Never going to let you down, Bianca. You knew what you wanted to do there.
You did
Tristan,
it.
That was awesome.
That was.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Thank you for that help.
Oh, yeah. I like that. It's not a Rick roll. It's a Rit.
It's a Rit roll.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's great. Thank you, Chef Brent.
Wow.
Yeah.
We do everything here. We are evolving. Our Rick rolls are omni-channel. They're written. They're text.
I loved that demo, and I loved that we went from 0 to we did it in an hour, like less than an hour. We got it fully working.
I was little bit sweating when I realized how much time we had, but we got there.
You're
So,
good.
I'm
Let's
excited.
yeah. Now you just need to write a blog post because this is cool. We have a video, but that was I like legitimately one of my favorite demos I think maybe we've ever built on stream, because like that physical output in the world is just something that you don't get very often. Like that's special.
Yeah, and that I think is really cool. You know, people I think really appreciate it and don't get it as much as they could, because I think it's so hard. But you know, we just proved in 30 minutes, you know, you can get something.
Yeah.
I also can see, like, you know, right now there's a lot of stuff around like AI art, right? And just folks aren't thrilled, right? Because they're like, pay the artists. But I do think, I wonder if there's an opportunity for creativity, like for the artist, right? To just find new means of expression. And just kind of like, how do you begin to kind of like quantify or find the data points or the commonalities between your own art? So yeah, I think that like, that's a thing. So we have a question in chat.
If you had to pick between a 3D printer and a pen plotter, which would be your top choice?
Well, I own a pen plotter. I don't own a 3D printer.
There you go. yeah.
You have shared your allegiances.
Yeah, I mean, I've always I've been on the fence. I actually own a desktop CNC machine as well.
Nice.
That really doesn't get used. But yeah, I always thought that the primarily like the algorithmic art that you can do with pen plotting was really cool, and it's kind of like, you know, you get to write code and then, you know, get the art. Yeah, you can attach pens to the 3D printers, which is also really cool. Or you can also do you know, put like little knives and make like, you know, like a cricket, or like, you know, like cut out shapes and stuff, which is fun.
I was gonna say, all I thought was like the robot attacking with the knife.
Yeah, you want to wear your safety glasses during that, but
or maybe you could cut a cake. You could cut a cake
well,
with the.
I've thought a lot about that. Yeah, I think my next thing would be a laser cutter, actually.
Oh, that's cool. Then you can start doing some stuff in some bigger mediums. Nice.
Well, bigger mediums, they make a kit for like a Delta CNC, like 8x4. So it's like on chains or I think it's like belts. So you like put posts on 4 corners, and you have this. You basically move a CNC router, you know, on these belts on your wood, and that might be in my future as well.
Nice. Yeah, Frackberg has a CNC router in the wood shop.
Yeah,
this is his favorite.
If I could lift it up, you know, I would put it in my basement, but unfortunately they are heavier than I can lift.
That's right.
And Stephen Nix is excited about bringing lasers into the mix.
Oh yeah.
No, this is your glasses.
This is cool. No, this was definitely cool. Shout out to you, Tristan. You did it. Like, you know, you found
me, guys.
You know, yes, we were here for research and emotional support. That's great. This was awesome. It was great learning about you, your journey. Tristan, you were super cool. I was like, you know, okay, every now and then with our guests, I was like, I could be cool with you in real life, you know, not stream life, but like real life. I was like, this is an interesting person. And you're definitely an interesting person. So, you know, folks, like, be sure to connect with Tristan, however that looks like for you. But yeah, I heard you may or may not be at Signal. Is that a thing?
I'm coming, I believe. Yeah.
Woo! We'll see you there. We will see you in person.
Yeah.
So so like more, who knows? Maybe you might get more
right here. This is, you know, this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tristan,
you know?
what are you most excited for at Signal?
I mean, it's always, I feel like, you know, doing developer relations. I went to a lot of tech conferences back in the heyday, I guess. And yeah, I feel like Signal's always super well done. There's lots of cool speakers and swag, and I think that the talks are always really interesting. And it's also really like, I think Signal always does a really good job about what is it, like the hallway track, right? Like there's always like cool stuff that isn't in the conference, but there's lounges and interactive art projects, and I don't don't know, but I hope the hack pack's coming back. Like there's all sorts of cool stuff that
I wish. I don't think the hack pack's coming back, but I wish.
We don't know. We gotta keep.
I don't know for a fact.
I don't know. We don't know.
I don't want everyone to get their like hopes up because Tristan here said, "Oh, the track," you know.
Yeah, don't quote me. I don't know anything.
I haven't heard about it, but that doesn't mean it's not happening.
Anywho, the vibes will be vibing.
Yeah.
I like what you meant. I do like what you mentioned though about like the hallway track, which is like, I think there's definitely like great talks, great speakers, but I do think all of these pieces that you find along the way, those are always my favorite, you know, like the conversations that can happen, the people that you get to meet. So we're super excited. We'll see you IRL. We might even ask you some 5 questions in person. Who knows? But Tristan, okay, just as we wrap, how was your experience on stream? Like, let us know. How are you feeling as you wrap it up?
Good. I feel good. I honestly, I was a little bit nervous. I was getting nervous before, presentations and stuff. I think this was part of it's because, I'm in my own house. That's a little bit easier, more relaxed, I think from one basis. But yeah, I think it went super well. I really, you guys do a great job at putting people at ease.
This is good. No, yeah, you were awesome. And we do hope to see you again if you want to create more art. If we want to talk pastries, maybe.
No, we didn't even talk about pastries.
I know. So clearly you'll be back. And what else? Yeah, we could build a pastry business. Maybe that'll be.
Don't tempt me. Don't
tempt you.
I think that might be one of our streams is build a pastry business and just like different tools we'd build for the customer experience. That'll be a thing. Great. It's settled. It's settled. Well, chat, everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
Wait, I want to drop one link here really quick. If anyone wants to join us at Signal, you can use this link to grab tickets.
And tell a friend to tell a friend. Tomorrow we have Build a Blog. I don't know if we have it. I think we should.
We should have Build a Blog.
Yep. Thursday we have Developer Lens. Next Tuesday we have more champion
we'll be
goodness.
Back with another champion.
But yeah, this was awesome. And also, if you're like, I want to rewatch this, it should be on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you watch A/B testing. But anyways, thanks y'all for joining us, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday, 2. See ya.